Ebenezer, not just radio. On our debut, this is Unfiltered with the Duke, and it's the business corner now. And how do we start it? We started with Womandla. And what do I mean by that? We mean the spirit of Mama Winnie. And today we have Miss Nthabiseng Moshweshwe. I am told that she's a township property developer, a private equity founder, and a property compliance pioneer. And I must add there, she is very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Austin Tabi, Sawubona.
Sawubona ninjani Duke?
I am okay, and yourself?
I'm well, thank you.
And the famous question, if you were to be asked at Parliament, and they asked you, who is Nthabiseng Moshweshwe? What would you say?
All right, so thank you so much for inviting me on your platform, and also to your listeners as well. So Nthabiseng Moshweshwe is actually a visionary leader. I'm a property developer for the township market and the CEO of Moshweshwe Real Estate Capital Fund. Nthabiseng is a woman who carries a legacy of resilience, courage, and the mandate for kingdom wealth building. And I'll come back to that.
Okay.
At heart, I see myself as a national builder. I see myself as a woman who needs to raise other property entrepreneurs and women and bring them on the table that I have established myself. I have a compassion for unlocking land, because land, when it's been unlocked, it then brings economic viability, justice, and opportunities, especially in underserved markets. So that's why we're looking at South Africa and also across the borders of Africa as well. So that's who I am. I'm a mother as well.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a teacher, I'm a mentor. So I wear many hats.
Oh, very interesting. And obviously, the teacher, the mentor, the mother was once a young girl with dreams. When did this dream start? And just tell me about your upbringing.
Wow. Sure. So I was raised by a single mother. So my parents got divorced at a very young age. I was very shy. I was a young girl who had self-issues, and I always felt unseen. In a group of other girls, I was always overlooked. I was the one who was always overlooked. Okay. And one thing I told myself was that I might be overlooked now as I'm growing up, but I'm going to make sure that I leave a mark in the business world. So that has been my motto and my drive, that I can find myself in spaces where my authority and my visibility cannot be ignored. But as a child, talking about my childhood, obviously coming from the township, couldn't go to varsity. Entrepreneurship for me actually started out of desperation. I always say that I had two choices at that time. One of those choices was to use my looks and to find a sugar daddy to fund my lifestyle, or I could find a way to figure out a way out of the poverty that I found myself in. So I then started to actually sell plates, because I was very good when it comes to cooking.
Okay.
I then started analyzing around the township, looking at the schools, that what can I do so I can have an income. So I realized that one thing that God gave me was the ability to cook. So I'm a very good cook.
Okay.
I can bake. So I started selling plates. And I started very small, because what I did, because I didn't, obviously back then there were no flyers. Yes. So I just took a page and wrote down my details and took those small pages into schools and to teachers. Wow. And funny enough, I found support, because people actually started placing an order. So I will cook for the teachers. During break time, I will then deliver with a wheelbarrow. Bear that in mind. With a wheelbarrow, I will put in plates and take them to the schools. Come back. Others will say, no, we want to come to your mother's house to eat. I will prepare a table nicely in the lounge, put some tomato sauce on their plate,
Wow.
Uh, and that's where the entrepreneurship spirit and the resilience and the courage started at that age. I think it was about 19,
Mhm.
because I finished matric at 18. So that was at the age of 19 years,
Hmm.
because I was tired of crying and hoping that I was in varsity. So yes,
Wow. So
that's
one
my
would
childhood.
one would expect you to be owning a hotel by now. Why
Yes.
property?
Because for me, property is a calling.
Hmm.
Because when I look at my entrepreneurial journey, a lot of things don't make sense how they happened. I didn't even know anything about real estate, to be quite honest.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, out of the I wouldn't say stupid mistake, but out of informed decisions that I took at a young age, I found myself as a young mother, you know.
Hmm.
And I remember I then got a job, I think about 4 years later, to work at Massmart as a cashier.
Hmm.
And I then realized that, even though that at least now I'm not hustling like I used to,
Hmm.
now I'm working as a cashier. That is not enough for me to raise a child. And I wanted my child to have a better future than myself. So an advert came, and it was written, write your own check. So I started imagining myself that, wow, if I can find something that I can write my own check, that means that this can change the direction of my destiny and my family. So I then responded to that advert, only to find that it was an agency in Sunward Park, a white agency. I went there, I went for an interview. I remember the lady told me that, firstly, I'm young, the industry is very difficult.
Hmm.
She rather give me another position to become a reception. So I moved from
Okay.
being a cashier to being a receptionist at Hall Real Estate in Sunward Park in the year 2005.
Okay.
And then for some reason, I just decided, okay, fine, let me take a chance. So I took that chance, and it's a chance that actually really paid off. So
Wow.
for me, that's how I was introduced into the property industry. Once I was inside that office, I realized that people were making money. People were making 500,000. People were making 200,000
Hmm.
from commission. I then realized, no, I think I'm in the right place. And uh, because of my hard working and my dedication, I got awards from that company. I was then given an opportunity to study real estate, which is now the NQ level 4. At that time, it was multiple choice. I was then given a mentor. So the issue of mentorship was then introduced to me at that time. The CEO of that company saw the potential in me. She gave me a very well experienced and a wealthy estate agent who became a mentor,
Hmm.
who then started pouring to me and saying to me that you can make it. And I believe that, and that's how I then realized that, okay, property can be a vehicle to generate wealth.
Hmm.
And then at that time, there were developments were starting in the township, especially in Vosloorus. I
Okay.
then started selling developments in Vosloorus. I realized I started making money here and there, but there was a void inside of me. Even though I was making money, I could have stayed as an estate agent because I
Yes.
was already making money. I bought myself an apartment, I bought 2 cars, I was making money, but I was not fulfilled. So that then pushed me into the next level of my journey in the property industry.
And that is Moshosho Property Fund and Investment.
This is where Mushosho Properties was then birthed in the middle of recession in 2008. When people were not eager to start a business, I went into starting my own business, leaving the comfort of being backed out by an agency. I started a real estate company, and that risk really paid off in a huge way because the support. I always say that my journey is a divine encounter because
Hmm.
by logic, certain things were not supposed to happen to me because people didn't know who I am.
Hmm.
I'm young, I'm inexperienced, but I found mentors, I found companies in South Africa. My branding was done for free by the brand union in Sandton. I didn't
Wow.
have to pay for that. My marketing, boards, everything that had to do with my marketing was paid for by is it GEP? It was paid by GEP. I didn't have to pay for that. I got a mentor. I went into Race Corp. Race Corp opened doors for me. I started now being featured on Financial Mail. Out of that, a cover story that was done for me on the Financial Mail, I then got a contract to go and sell developments in Pretoria. So I always say that there has been a lot of mercy on my journey, because I think the calling was bigger, because I had to go through those experiences and those hardships, and to understand that what does it take to build a kingdom business, so I can come back when I am on the other side to bring back others who find themselves where I've started. Yes.
Wow, you keep referring to what I would call a divine intervention and
Yes.
kingdom business. That tells me you're a
Yes.
spiritual person, most likely a
Yes.
Christian.
Yes.
Please just share with me the divine intervention itself, the relationship between God and where you are at now.
Yes. Okay, so the reason is why is because when you go into business, people tell you of other ways to sustain yourself, other ways to build business, other ways to bring wealth. So I chose the very uncommon route, that is to go to God. So firstly, I understand that God wrote my destiny was approved in heaven. So already that I'm doing here now is already has been done by God. So whenever I'm having either a board meeting, I'm having a problem, or I don't even know what I need to do for this season, the first thing is that I have a board meeting with God. I say, God, we are entering 2025. Tell me, what is the vision for 2025? Where are my Kairos moments? Which season where I need to harvest? Which season I need to plant? Allow me to move with divine alignment, to bring the divine aligned media companies, business partners, clients, so that I do not find myself, mix myself with people who define who I am, who corrupt who I am. I cannot control everything, because we all have different beliefs. But I want whoever who comes at my table are people who have been approved by God, because then I don't have there won't be any conflicts, of energies. There will be a divine alignment, and we'll be able to fulfill a purpose. We need to show people that when we do good and when we succeed, we are firstly glorifying God for the kingdom. God is not only raising me so that I can have wealth for myself, He's raising me as a kingdom builder. So I have the mandate to be a kingdom financier. I have the mandate to be a kingdom builder. I have a mandate to win souls to the kingdom of God, so that people can know that you can go into business with God and succeed and stay at power using God's clean power.
Wow, that is, you remind me, there's because I also host a gospel show on Sundays, and there's a pastor that came through, Ketelo Mazibuko, and said it is possible to do business in an ethical way. And that's exactly what you are alluding to right now. That it is possible, though the industry itself is dirty, but it is possible to do it clean and to do it without any other, foreign spirits or marine spirits. I'm interested to then know, obviously, in the industry, as a woman, I can imagine, Guti, you faced some challenges being undermined and all that. That which your boss at that time was worried about, for them to put you as a receptionist. What would you say were the challenges? Now you've branched in fully fledged Mushoshe properties, and what happens there? What were the challenges that you had faced?
Well, sure. I went through difficult seasons, uh, the Bible talks about the wilderness,
Mm.
and sometimes when you are in the wilderness, that's where you are being sharpened.
Mm.
At that time, you might not see it. You only see it once you have crossed. So I have experienced a lot of betrayals.
Whew.
Funny enough, I was telling my partner that if there's one thing I can talk about, that is betrayal,
Hmm.
you know. So I have experienced a lot of betrayal, and being a daughter of God and moving with divine timings and divine encounters and also the favor of God.
Mm.
I have been favored in my journey. I don't want to lie. But one thing that I was not aware of was the betrayal that I was going to face. There were people who wanted to break me down.
Hmm.
I have been broken down. I have lost everything where I had to rebuild myself all over again. I have been ridiculed. God, if you can think of anything that can break a person down, my soul has been broken, everything. So I went through the most difficult and challenging time for the past 9 years. So I will reference this to a 9-year cycle, which started in the year of 2016 and ended in 2024. In that cycle of 9 years and of that season, that is the season where I have been tested the most, because there were times where things were just not working at all. After being in a season of 9 years prior where everything was flowing, everything was just happening, everything that I was touching was turning into gold. I then went into a season where what I used to do could not work anymore. I lost cars. I lost about 20 properties. I had a
No.
net worth of close to 20 million rand, and that was reduced. And I had wrong partners, business partners, life partners. Everything in that season was just wrong. Whatever that I did in that season, when I look at it now, I could see just there was a spiritual frog and veil over my destiny. But I reminded myself that maybe God needed to prune me on certain things. God needed to remove certain people. And also God was reminding me that what I had, it was not out of my own hard work. It was out of Him. So He needed to bring me back to Him. Because along the way, I lost that in Tabiseng who was spiritual, Tabiseng who was praying, whether things are good, whether things are bad. Money, when money came and it came, when money started flowing, somehow I got blinded. I thought that everything that I did, it's because now I was the best, because I understand business. And I was reminded when all that was taken away from me, that what I have is not mine. I'm a steward for wealth, and I need to use it for the right reason. I found myself going into dark places that I was not supposed to go into, and even when I went to those dark places, I did not find any solution. The solution that I found that took me out of that situation was going back to God and humbling myself before God and asking for forgiveness. There is a prayer that I did, which is a prayer to redeem time and to compress time, where I had to fast for almost 3 months, asking for God, literally fasting, where I will start at 6 o'clock in the morning up until 6 p.m., where I was literally asking God to redeem the 9 years that I lost. Because I understand the pain of a delayed destiny, of a 9-year season of where your destiny is being defiled by foreign spirits that I invited myself. Nobody, I did that myself out of my own disobedience. So it was in that season where I started doing the prayer of for God to redeem my time and to compress my time, and to also for divine acceleration, that what I could not do in 9 years, let me be able to redeem it in less than 6 months, less than 9 months, And the reason why I've realized that prayer was answered, there was a call that came to me that literally changed everything. It was a lady that I have so much respect for her. She's my leader. Her name is Lebo Hanzo. She's the chair of BRICS WPA. So she invited me in, and so she said, I see you, you are one of us, you are a leader, and we want to invite you in. That literally encounter, has unlocked so many things. Because in that short space of time, okay, I can't actually say certain details, but the ideas that I have done in that short space of time, that even the 9 years that I lost, I wasn't going to be able to achieve what I achieved recently.
What? Okay.
That I'm telling you, the Moshoeshoe Real Estate Capital Fund, I didn't see myself as a woman who can go into private equity. But being in that room with women like that literally opened my eyes, my business expansion. And then I realized, and I was advised that this is how you need to do it. When you go into property development, when you are in property development, you don't want to chase funding for the rest of your life. You want to have a vehicle that has funds, meaning that when you develop, you are tapping into that fund, and then you are able to do your high impact projects. Wow. And I think when I talk about prayer of redeeming time, I wish people can take it seriously because it does work. I then got featured by a magazine that is based in the USA. Out of that visibility, I then started getting funders who then funded the equity firm. So that's what has happened. It does I'm myself in Thabise, I'm also surprised. There are things that are happening that I'm also shocked that are actually happening. But then I have to remember that I have planted in prayer. I have sacrificed. There's no way God cannot answer me because I have been obedient. There are times where I needed to close the 9-year season where even if I did not have enough at that time, I had to close that season by doing what we call an offering, where you want that offering to be able to speak for you. That it is an offering that is in monetary value, but the intention behind it is to close certain season and to unlock new seasons. Wow. That's exactly what I have.
I did warn when we started that we will not have enough time, and we've already ran out of time. But I would love for us to come back, and when we come back, I want us to actually dive into what is township property development. What happens there. Speaking to the aspiring property developers or people who are already in the business, and also speaking about the private equity. I would like for us to really talk about that. So thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your story. And I'm sure there's an Ebonite out there who has drawn so much inspiration. I know I have. And if there's people that want to contact you, get in touch with you with regards to what you provide in your company, how do they get hold of you?
Okay, so they can follow me on LinkedIn and Thabise Mathe Moshoeshoe. They can reach out via email, mathe@moshoeshoeprops.co.za. Those maybe who may want advice or mentorship, they can then send me a WhatsApp. I prefer WhatsApp. 079-132-0064. 0664.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time, and we will be talking soon.
All right, thank you so much. Bye.
Yes, folks, that was Austin Thabise Moshoeshoe from Moshoeshoe Real Estate Capital. Wow, what an inspiration! What a story! What is stopping you should be the question. This is Eben Edge, Not Just Radio, Unfiltered with the Duke.